What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. Hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you all for being here. It is the 10th day of April, and here we are sitting at about $442. We got 10 hours and 42 minutes left in the day. The price is doing bupkis. We're doing absolutely nothing. Maybe we're testing people. We're wicking down to these prices just below 440 to see if people are going to panic sell at the lows, giving you the opportunity here to make a bad decision right before the pump. What I will say, kind of an interesting predicament is that Bitcoin, in my opinion, does seem as though it wants to drop back down here. Now, this is not a significant drop. I just made a video about this. Right, 6%. Maybe, what, at the worst, we dropped like 11%. That's a somewhat significant drop, 11%, but not really that significant in the grand scheme of things. Bitcoin Cash has existed in moments in time where Bitcoin will drop like that, and Bitcoin Cash doesn't really drop that much. But it's really hard to say that Bitcoin Cash will be pumping while Bitcoin drops like this, and I do expect that drop to happen. So I'm hoping that sometime between now and the end of this week, we do get a little bit of a pump to help remedy whenever that drop does happen. I don't know if it happens today. It could happen tomorrow, this drop with Bitcoin. Maybe it happens sometime next week. But it's going to happen soon. I'm very, very confident that it happens soon. We'll see. At any rate, if it weren't for Bitcoin, I'd have no problem being bullish here. But there is a possibility, my friends, and we should address it, that we could see one last little lower low before moving higher. It is possible. It very much is possible. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we'll see what the charts are telling us here. Double bottom rejection off the oversold zone. That's nice. That is nice. We're not getting overbought though. I would like it if we could get overbought. That would be better. But we did have, we've had double bottoms before on the daily time frame. I don't really see any actually here. Triple tops, whatever, that don't work out. It's kind of the same dynamic here. And then we dropped as we have here, and then maybe we pump, and that would be nice if we could pump. Stochastics look like they want to keep going up to the overbought zone. We're choppy and sideways, so I don't trust the stochastics or the MACD too much, but they both do seem to have a bullish posturing. The 4 hour time frame, the RSI is neutral, and that makes sense. The price action is neutral. Stochastics are neutral as well, but they're kind of weird. I want to say they're bullish, but I don't know. It's just neutral. The MACD does look a bit bullish here. You even had a false cross, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, right there. Yeah, you have a little red, just a little guy, just a little red guy. Now we're green again. Might have a false cross on the false cross. I've been noticing we'll get the false red cross, and then it'll cross back green, and that'll be a false green cross, and then we drop back down, and it's red again. I've noticed that. I mean, that happened. That literally happened here with Trump coin. Right here, where we had green, false red cross, and then we crossed green again. That's really bullish most of the time, and well, then we dropped, and we actually got the real cross to the downside here. It's and this might be a false cross too overall. Who knows? But things have definitely been tricky, and they get trickier. Indicators are less reliable, you guys, when you're choppy and sideways. They really are. So the indications that you normally get excited for, they have less weight in this kind of environment. With that being said, I do think still the 4 hours in a more bullish position than a bearish position. It seems as though the tide is turning, but we need to get above this point here. I mean, we need to get above like 450, guys. We need that to happen and stay above there on a 4 hour closing basis. I think that's what we're going to see. I'm in this weird situation where I'm either going to be right about Bitcoin Cash pumping, or I'm going to be right about Bitcoin dumping. One of the two. Or maybe I'm right about both. Maybe Bitcoin does give us a little bit of a leg up, and then it dumps down, and that could be enough. In that time, Bitcoin Cash could see a little bit of a rally, so that when Bitcoin dumps, Bitcoin Cash is being productive instead of destructive. You know what I mean? Looking at the we already looked at the 4 hour time frame. The daily time frame here. You have higher lows. You are rejecting the oversold zone, which is nice. Going from getting into the oversold zone to rejecting it, right? That's actually a good transition. The stochastics are getting tied up a little bit here, and that might be because the past few days we've been chilling, but I do think you have a bullish prospect here. And the MACD is also about to cross green here, and I would assume that if this cross is real, we could get across above the 0 as well. The halfway point and beyond, the second half of this month should be good for Bitcoin Cash, guys. I would not be surprised if we were sitting at prices that were well above $500, well above maybe even $600 by the end of April here. We're just waiting to see, though. I am concerned about the impending drop of Bitcoin. I'm hoping that we get a leg up here, maybe by the end of this week, if not sometime over the next 5 days, just before this drop, whenever this drop happens. Because every day that we stay here, Bitcoin gets closer to that drop, and whenever that drop happens, we're in a position where we could see lower lows. And lower lows are okay, but I don't think we want to go below $400. I don't think we want to go that low. So that's kind of the concern there. And from where we are here, from this current price, I mean, if Bitcoin were to drop 10%, you would assume Bitcoin Cash would drop more than 10%. And that puts us in jeopardy of going below $400. We don't want to do that. So. Anyways, I got nothing else for you guys. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. I'm very much under the impression here that we are in a consolidation range, within a consolidation range, within a phase where we are about to break out of this overall historical trend line that we are resting on top of right now. Things are set, man. Things are genuinely set for us to rip to the upside and see some glorious, glorious price action. We could consolidate here for months to come still, and that is still true. That might be true on the very next attempt up. We'll see. But from here, all of that's put off even further if we break back down. If we're not in a consolidation range here, but we're just still part of this phase overall, and then we have to look forward to finding support here, maybe even at lower lows there, inevitably. And to be fair, if we did drop below $300, that'd be a buying opportunity of a lifetime. It would hurt in the short term, sure, but you guys, it would if you act appropriately, this will only set you up better for the long term. It really will. So, anybody who's like, damn, I wish I bought at $200 or $300, you might get that opportunity. I'm not leaning that way. That's not my call personally. But again, being here at the area where we could be breaking out, it's certainly a possibility that we can address. Right? Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Hopefully we get something that takes us above, not 480. 480 is great, but something that's above 450, consistently above 450 over the coming days. Because if we get above 450, I would think that we do probably return to the upper ends of this range here. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.